This is SportsCenter U.
And welcome into the halftime report. The LSU Tigers trying to make it back-to-back national titles. I'm Lowell Galindo here with a man that knows about going back-to-back. It's Mike Rucker, who won back-to-back titles at Nebraska, also then added another one about a year later for 3 total. What were the conversations like with Tom Osborne at the beginning of the season, explaining to you guys what you would go through trying to repeat?
Well, it's like he was a prophet. I mean, he would tell us the things that we needed to work on, and if we worked on it, we would give ourselves an opportunity to win that championship. And it was something that I seen firsthand, and guys believed in what he was saying. And that's why we were so good. And now that he's back, the state of Nebraska is happy. Les
Miles is now trying to give that same motivational speech to his Bayou Bengals at LSU. What's going to be the biggest, largest hurdle that he's going to have to get his guys past going back-to-back this season?
Well, it's going to be focusing on football. They've had some off-field issues, and that's going to be the story of the year that people are going to talk about. They're losing their quarterback. They don't really have an option for him, and so that defense has been depleted, and losing Bo Pelini, their defensive coordinator, is going to be tough to repeat. They're going to have bullseyes on them, and in a tough conference, I don't see them repeating, but they will have a good football team.
Now, at the same time, this is a team that had 2 losses and was still in the mix and did win the national championship. Is it important for them to start fast, to know that they still have enough juice basically flowing to get them there?
Well, to give themselves a chance, they have to start fast, because if they don't start fast, that schedule is going to get tough. Everybody's schedule is kind of fluffy in the beginning, so if you don't start fast there, you're going to have a long year.
We saw a lot of players from LSU go on that draft board in the NFL. Glenn Dorsey, one of them. When that is your selling point of your program and you lose so many guys, how does that set you up for a next season like they're going through with so much importance on trying to go back to back?
Well, it's going to hurt, but it can help. It's going to hurt that you're going to lose them right now, and it's going to be tough the next year. But that's a good recruiting tool. The young guys coming in, listen, we push our guys through to the NFL. We get them their education, and they're going to the next level. So that could be a good thing. Guys don't have to wait long to get playing time.
Now, if you watch Glenn Dorsey, which I'm sure you did at points this season, winning the first round of the Kansas City Chiefs, absolutely phenomenal. He did so many things that didn't show up on the stat sheet. You're a defensive end. When you got a guy in the middle like that and now he's gone, what do you have to do differently as a college defensive end to kind of make up for his absence?
Well, now you don't have room for error. You have to be able to hold the ends of the line down. The middle is going to be soft because you're losing a guy like that. So you're going to have to get guys that are maybe some big bodies, but you're going to have to get pressure on the ends with those defensive ends when it's in the pass rush.
Who does have the most pressure now? Is it the defensive ends or maybe some of the linebackers with a guy like Dorsey out of the mix?
Well, it's probably going to come with the linebackers, maybe blitzing them some because you're soft in the middle. So you're going to have to get more aggressive up the middle because that middle is going to be soft.
Now, we've talked a lot about the LSU quarterback situation. Ryan Perrilloux gone. At quarterback is always such an integral role, basically, to the program. You're a defensive guy. So when you lose that quarterback of the defense, whatever spot that is, like a guy like Glenn Dorsey, what does it do to the dynamic of that confidence, the dynamic of that huddle defensively before you guys go out there on that field?
Well, they definitely need somebody to step up. They're going to have somebody that's going to step up in that role and be that quarterback, because if you don't have that confidence as the quarterback of the defense, guys will see that, and that'll filter into the defense, and you got to have someone that's strong.
You were a defensive end at Nebraska. Someone obviously had to come along and replace you. What would you say is the most difficult position to have a leader leave and to fill that position the next season?
I would definitely think it's that middle linebacker, because he does so much, whether it's in the run game, the pass game, and even sometimes blitzing. So I think that middle linebacker typically has been our quarterback of the defense. Now, time from time, there will be a defensive lineman that becomes that guy, but a lot of times it's that middle linebacker, and that's really hard to let that go.
So some of the issues that the LSU Tigers are dealing with as they try to make it back-to-back national titles. Florida, a team that was dethroned by the LSU Tigers 1 season ago. They're back in the mix, a lot of talent coming back. If they are able to win the SEC, why will they go and do that?
Well, it's going to be from the quarterback, Tim Tebow. I think that's the important one of the things. The leader on the field is going to be that quarterback position, and he's got that veteranism in him. He's got that that play time that he's had, and so he is going to be the leader of that team, that offense that's going to make that team go.
Even with Tim Tebow coming back from a Heisman Trophy winning season, a lot of people talking that this is the division, this is the conference of the Georgia Bulldogs, that they are the pick to win it all. When you look at Georgia and you hear all these people saying they are the team to beat, why should we talk Georgia? Why should they be number one?
Well, I think that they were in the mix last year, and it came down to a close thing in the BCS rankings where they lost out to LSU. Well, I think that they've been a young team that has gotten experience and have grown over the years, and now they're going to be in the mix next year. Got a quarterback, maybe one of the strongest arms in the country, and it'll be nice to watch him play.
Matt Stafford with that rocket arm. A lot of people are going to be watching to see if he can lead the Georgia Bulldogs to an SEC title, and you know the folks in Georgia would love to see that. At the bottom of this list, folks in Kentucky, South Carolina, Vanderbilt would just like to see anything happen to get them into the mix to compete with Georgia, Tennessee, Florida. For those three programs at the bottom, what's the one key that's consistent for all three as far as what they have to do to contend?
Well, they're going to have to find a way to win that big game. When they're playing Georgia and Tennessee and Florida, they got to find a way to win those games. If they don't win those games, they don't have a shot. So they have to start with the quarterback, start with the offense and defensive line. If you don't have any line, you're not going to get anywhere. It doesn't matter if you have a great quarterback, receivers, or DBs. Starts with that offense and defensive line.
And we're going to go to the SEC West now, a conference that produced the national championship, not too shabby there. LSU 6-2. 12-2 overall. Then Auburn, Arkansas, Mississippi State, all trying to play catch up. Arkansas is in an interesting situation now, bringing in a new head coach. What is that transition going to be like for the players that have been there under the old regime, now bringing in a new coach?
Well, anytime that you're bringing in a new coach, you got to be patient. It's going to be, a 2-3 year process. And what happens is when you're bringing in a new coach, you're losing two of your dynamic running backs. It's going to be a rebuilding stage for that program. And so that they have to get guys in that are going to believe in that program and in that coach to make that thing roll. Belief
may be the key word for Arkansas this year. Bobby Petrino coming in. He's known as a guy that knows his football, but maybe doesn't have the best people skills. Some people were hard on him for the way he left Louisville and then turning around, leaving the Atlanta Falcons. As a young player, how much does that concern you, knowing you have a coach that has a history of taking off in the middle of the night?
Well, I think some kids will buy into what he's saying, but if parents are really involved, they're going to really look at that hard that, we don't know if he's going to be there tomorrow. And so that, for me as a parent, would be frightening. And that would make me really think hard about going to Arkansas.
Well, a lot of people think hard about the SEC and Arkansas being part of a conference that is the best in the nation. When you have to pinpoint which conference is the best, I know you're a Big 12 guy. When push comes to shove, which is the best conference in all of college football?
I would definitely have to give pound to pound the SEC. Every week that you see a game, it's going to be like a national championship type game. And I think that's what makes that conference strong. And that's why you see a lot of times the national championship team come out of the SEC.
It's happened 2 straight years. But part of that power shift now to the Big 12 is a guy by the name of Bo Pelini, was the defensive coordinator at LSU. Now he is the head coach of your former program at Nebraska. When you see Pelini coming in to take this job, how far away do you think realistically Nebraska is from at least getting to the point where they can challenge in the Big 12 North?
I wish I could say tomorrow, but it's actually going to be probably about 2-3 years. Him getting his guys in there. One thing that I like about Bo, he is an honest, loyal guy. He stayed with his Tigers to the championship and saw them through. Pushed those guys onto the NFL, and then he went to Nebraska. That's a classy act, and that's going to trickle down to his recruiting class as he starts to get his guys in.
And also had a very good year at Nebraska, getting the defense ready there before he took off for bigger and better things. But now he's back in Lincoln. But there's that work that he has to do with the Cornhuskers. When you see that, this is your program, 5-7, 2-6 in conference. How does that make you feel when you see Nebraska on the bottom of the Big 12 standings?
It makes my heart just cringe because we're not used to that. We're not used to them Huskers being at the bottom. And when we're in the locker room in the professional level, that is our heart and soul. And, when we're losing, the whole state is losing. And, it's time for a change. They did that change. And we're looking forward to this new beginning, getting back to the mid-90s Nebraska Cornhuskers.
He's Mike Rucker, former Nebraska defensive star.